Now, one thing that I think maybe was swept under the rug was homosexuality. You've seen all over social media, there's lots of people speculating that there were many homosexual bachelors on Indian Matchmaking, okay?
Right. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that maybe there were some people that were on the show as bachelors that perhaps maybe are questioning or perhaps maybe are in the closet? And if so, do you think we could ever see an Indian Matchmaking episode with 2 gay men or 2 gay women?
Right. So there's a couple of answers to that question. To answer about why there were no same-sex couples or no gay people, LGBTQ people on the show. One is because, first of all, same-sex marriage is still illegal in India, and it was only decriminalized 2 years ago. We have a complicated history when it comes to same-sex marriage, LGBTQ identity, things like that. And a lot of people who are gay or LGBTQ in some way are still very much in the closet in India. Mm-hmm. Now, what that means in India and in Indian culture is, I think, a bit different than what it means in Western culture. A lot of people, because the sort of idea of marriage and family structure and, it's so foundational to who we are as people in India, I think there is a different relationship to being in the closet than there is in the West. There are a lot of people that I know personally who are closeted, but it's not this sort of, they're very happy to keep those aspects of their life separate. They have their wife and their family and their children and their, everything, on one side, and then they have, their identity as an LGBTQ person, and that community on another side. And they're happy to keep those things separate. At least that's how they present, and it's not for me to say you're not happy, you want something different. That's a personal journey that I cannot, I don't want to bring my, American Western perspective onto that. Now, as to whether some of the people on the show are gay or are not, cis hetero, whatever it is, again, I think that's more like people questioning that might be more of a reflection of what we consider masculine and what we consider straight, as opposed to what's actually the reality for these people. Are some of the people on the show not straight? Maybe, I don't know, but I don't think I have, I would apply that same, question to anyone, no matter how they present. There might be people on the show where somebody will say, he has a really big closet, or he's really into fashion, or whatever. He might be gay, but it's why do we only think of straight masculinity as one thing? And I think also in Indian culture, I've heard this question come up a lot because in India, men hold hands, men embrace, men speak a certain way, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're gay. It's just or that they're not straight. I think it's just that's a more that speaks more to sort of like the cultural surrounding and the way that that the sort of unique nuanced perspective of masculinity in Indian culture as opposed to. So I think it's like basically what I'm trying to say is I think it's dangerous to apply a Western lens and a very sort of like kind of rigid idea of what masculinity and straightness is to people who come from a different culture and a different background. So I don't speculate on that. Maybe some are, maybe some aren't, but I take people at their face value, and if they're presenting as they want a cisgender hetero partner, then that's what we try to help them find.